What's up, Skoldiers? Welcome back to another episode of Skoldiers and Spice. And it might be the off season, but it is always Skol season here on Vikings First and Skol. Tonight, my guest is Eli Corbett. You may know him from making some of the coolest graphic design on Vikings social media, but he also works for Unreal. And if you're a Vikings fan, you know the hype that surrounds Unreal's hoodies. But what's so special about them anyway? I'm also going to ask Eli about the creative process behind the scenes and what it is like to design for such a passionate fan base. Plus, I want to know, what would the Vikings jerseys look like if he was in charge? So, guys, get your favorite, grab your favorite hoodie, settle in, and let's get into it.
Hey man, how the hell you doing? I've been just fine living life with the news and
Eli, hello.
What's going on, Sal? How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you? I'm so excited to chat.
I know, I'm excited too. The NFL season is over, unfortunately, but in Unreal Land, we don't sleep. We're going right
Okay.
on to next season already. So, yeah, full steam ahead. No
Yeah,
breaks.
yeah, I bet you have to plan ahead for that for a while anyway, and there would be no breaks. But yes, the NFL season is over. It ended with a very lackluster Super Bowl. Was wasn't entertaining at all for me. But I remember I
Right,
discovered your Instagram a few years ago. I cannot remember what post it was, but I was just like, oh my God, like this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I went back and tried to find it today and I couldn't. And I was like, I gotta post this on Twitter. So I went and searched you on Twitter, and you were on you had a Twitter, but you didn't have that art posted. And I was like, oh my God, you
right.
have to post this. You have to post this on Twitter because it drives me nuts when people screenshot something that was like someone else's creation and post it. I don't care if it's like a meme that took somebody 2 minutes, whatever. It bugs me. So then you posted it on Twitter. But yeah, just tell me, how did you start designing the Vikings content?
Oh my God. So, Juan, thank you. Like, that's so cool. It's so cool and surreal to like meet people that or like I follow your work. Like it's just I don't know. It's kind of weird for me because I just view myself as this random dude that just likes Photoshop. But I've been a Vikings fan my entire life. I started designing full time back in 2017, so we're coming up on 8 years now.
Oh
I think
wow.
that's math, right? Yeah, yeah. We're coming up on almost a decade of designing, and I'm self-taught, so I learned on YouTube, and it was one of those things where I was like, I love the Vikings. How can I marry these two loves, this newfound love for graphic design, as well as, the Minnesota Vikings? And that was when sports design was starting to become really popular. It was starting to become really hot on social media, all of that kind of stuff. And I was like, this is a great way for me to just practice and get better. And so
Yeah.
I just kind of sat down and started to crank out little fan edits here and there, little passion projects. And, you know, now I'm here. I don't know. It just feels like I blinked and here we are. We're designing for Unreal, and I, get to do work with Thursday Night Football. I've done work with the Philadelphia Eagles, things like that. So
Yeah.
it's really cool to see, where we started from, watching YouTube tutorials, really having no idea what I'm doing in programs to now, being considered a professional in my field. So
So
it's really
you didn't
cool.
go to school for graphic design?
No, I went to school for vocal performance. I was a music major.
What?
Yeah. Yeah,
What?
we're really using that on a daily basis. So
Oh my
so yeah,
God, I
I
would
guess
never have
I
guessed.
can be fairly popular at I can be popular at karaoke night sometimes, but that's
Oh,
about all
yeah.
I do now in terms of like music stuff.
Okay, well, I'll definitely remember that. But all right, let's say what's up in the chat. We have two evil here. Julian is here. Chris Thompson, what's up, you guys? Oh my gosh, I just accidentally backed off of my screen here. Okay, we're back. Ty Smith is here. He says that you are one of his good friends.
Oh,
We've
what's
got
up, Ty?
Skull Mafia. Hey King, good to see you. Let's see. Bob Swede wanted Wentz to get his third ring. Julian says Eli's work has been on my phone background so many times. That's cute. I love that. Oh, and Julian also said can't wait for the Wolves drop. Yes, there is a Wolves drop on Sunday the 23rd, which they play the Thunder that day, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
last year that Wolves drop sold out like before I even got in the building. It was crazy.
Yeah, these people go crazy for this kind of stuff. Obviously, like before I joined Unreal, it was one of those things that I got really excited about from afar. But now being a part of it and being so close to the process, it's like, wow, these people are so passionate. And there are people that have every single limited edition collaboration item that Unreal
Yes,
has ever released. It's
I know.
insane, you know?
It's
So,
crazy. Like, what do you do with all those hoodies? What like do you have
well,
their
now
own like
I'm that
your own
guy. I'm
closet?
that guy that has the rows and rows of Unreal in my closet, and that's just a byproduct of working for the company. But I get it. It's great stuff, and it's also unique. So yeah, keep
Yeah.
stocking up.
Is that so how did you start working for Unreal? Did they seek you out or how did that go down?
Yeah, kind of. It was one of those things where the fall of last football season, so 2023, I got in contact with a couple of people through a mutual friend, and they started to contract me for a couple of their athlete activations, things like that. And one thing led to another where they found themselves in a need for a full-time position or a full-time designer. And I was like, hey, good news. I would love to move to the cities. Like this sounds amazing. And so it really worked out perfectly. And I'm
And
coming
where
up
were
on
you?
my 1 year with Unreal. I was up in North Dakota.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, in the flatlands up there where it does nothing but be cold and blow at 25 miles an hour on a regular basis. So I'm so happy to be a true Minnesotan now. So it's
Yeah,
great.
yeah, for sure. Well, that is just such a cool story. It's just so cool. The Vikings community, it just never ceases to amaze me, like how helpful everybody is and friendly, and you never know like who you talk to it can like completely change your life in this community. So I've definitely experienced that myself, so I get it. But what is
Seriously.
it
Yeah.
what is it that you think makes people go crazy for these drops? I think there's more to it than just being a limited quantity, but what do you think?
Right, like, obviously, it's so limited and it's so, I think it's so unique, you know, what drew me to these my first experience with Unreal was the first Vikings drops, volume 1, and it was unlike anything that you were seeing anywhere else in the market. You know, you had really unique decoration styles. There were just it wasn't the copy and paste, let's slap a logo screen printed on a gray sweatshirt and call it good. Like, you can tell, or you could tell right from the jump that so much more effort goes into these pieces, and they really design these pieces with the fans in mind. Like, they have such a good pulse on the fan base and what the fans are wanting and how much they care about their team. And so I think that's what really sets Unreal apart. And now we're coming up on our 5th year working with the NFL. And obviously we've expanded into other teams. And that passion and that drive to create really highly craft products hasn't
Mhm.
gone anywhere. You know, the team
Yeah.
has grown obviously, but the mission is the same. You know, let's provide the fans that care so much about these teams with something that they can really cherish, something that's truly special to them. So
Yeah, and I should back up for anybody who's here who isn't familiar with Unreal. They started, was it 3 seasons ago with the Vikings Volume
um
1 or was that 4?
I
I
yeah,
th
4 seasons ago. I think it
Yeah,
was
okay, it was 4.
2021. 2020
Yeah.
or 2021. Yeah.
Yeah, it was 2021. So 2021 season, Unreal started creating these hoodies that were completely different and they you could only buy them at Vikings home games or on the online drop. And the online drop would sell out within minutes and people would be so upset that they missed it or there wasn't their size. And those first 2 seasons of that happening, I mean people were going crazy and they couldn't get the drop and you would find them on eBay like 10 minutes later for $300 the exact same hoodie that you just missed.
Seriously. Yeah.
So it was nuts and people would just they would go into the game early just to grab that hoodie and the hype around it was crazy. So anyone who's not familiar, that's a little background on it. And then this past season there wasn't as many drops but Unreal expanded
Right.
a little bit. Talk about that.
Yeah, it was kind of a I don't know, it was kind of a daunting undertaking because we expanded to 8 teams. And previously in volume 3 or year 3, we had done one drop where we just launched 3 hoodies with the Chiefs, the Panthers, and the Packers. And
Hmm.
so to go from just working with the Vikings in a full scale, perspective, and then just adding that one drop with the 3 teams, to go from that to adding multiple drops with 8 teams, it was
Yeah.
kind of insane to kind of watch happen. Like, shout out to our product development team. Like, we have such a strong team, and like I said earlier, like the mission was always the same. Like, it doesn't matter who we're going to be working with. Like, every fan base that gets the opportunity to get some Unreal, in their wardrobe is going to get that highly craft, very unique, piece of fanware that they're not going to be able to get anywhere else. Um, but it was so cool to kind of see all of these different fan bases. Like, I have friends, in other parts of the country that root for other teams that we started to finally carry gear for. And they were
Hmm.
reaching out and they were so excited, and it's just so cool to kind of see
Yeah.
this whole, thing grow to where it has.
So has it been as popular as it was here in the expanded markets? Like, was
I
it
think
selling out
so.
in
Obviously,
2 minutes? Because I feel
not
like
no,
they
I wasn't selling
ran
out
away
in
from
2 minutes.
yeah, yeah.
Right, right. And you do everything that you can, by launching paid ads and things like that in these different markets. Um,
Mhm.
but I think it's just going to take a little bit of time. Obviously, people that got their gear were were so excited about it, and they loved it. Chris Boswell with the Steelers kicker, um, big fan of the brand now, and since we partner with the Steelers now, it's always really cool to see him place his orders, and he hooks his guys up on the Steelers with Unreal gear now, and it's kind of crazy, to see that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, because obviously that hype, spreads off onto the fans and things like that, and it only just continues to build that snowball that just keeps rolling. So we love to see it.
Yeah, for sure. And Minnesota, oh my gosh, Unreal is a Minnesota company too, correct?
Right. Yeah. Based in
Yeah,
St. Paul right now. So
yeah. I
really
know, isn't
cool.
that so yeah, it's so cool, and to just see the rate of the growth and everything of, Minnesota company, it's just so awesome, spreading the word. Let's see,
Hmm.
where do we wanna go from here? I'm gonna say what's up quick to Frankie, so good to see you, and I saw Alex Micheletti was here. Love you. We've got, Norsefius, who is stationed in North Dakota right now. Julian, all gear is absolutely fire. I have every Vikings hoodie besides the first 2 drops and all the Wolves hoodies and hats. I'm obsessed. Wow, sir, you got a big bank account.
Yeah. No kidding. Keep going, man.
Um,
Keep pushing those numbers. Let's go.
so, what is like your main job at Unreal, like on a day to day? Are you? It sounds like you're doing more than just graphics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about Unreal, is that we have, you know, we're perceived as this giant company, but we really do have a very like lean, efficient team. So my job is, I am the primary graphic designer for the marketing team.
Hmm.
But I have been assisting our product development team on, if you guys remember the Bring Ya Ass hoodie that we did during the
Yeah.
NBA playoffs last year. Like, we kind of came up with the idea, like, it'd be really cool to throw that on a hoodie. I'm sure people would really love that. And so it was like 3 of us that took it upstairs and we talked about it. And then 72 hours later, we were selling 1,000 units in 2 minutes. So I kind
Mhm.
of, had a hand, and that was kind of the first piece for Unreal
Yeah.
that I designed, and then we did an exclusive travel set for the Denver Broncos, and I got to design that, which was really cool. But now this year, for the NFL 25 assortment, I'm kind of co-heading the design process with our product developer Cole. So, um, like I said, mostly work on the marketing stuff, but I love it when I get to kind of branch off into the product design, and
Yeah.
obviously design cool NFL gear, stuff that I want to wear on a daily basis. So it's really cool to kind of approach this from a fan's perspective, and hopefully
Yeah.
the fans now can kind of see that love and dedication that goes into these pieces now, and know that
Right.
me having a hand in it, they can rest assured knowing that a lot of care and a lot of thought went into, the pieces that are going to be releasing here in
Yeah.
just a few months now. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh, I know. I was just thinking the other day, I'm like, okay, fine. We've got the off season. We can just chill. And then I was like, oh my, well, wait, April is not that far away. God.
Right,
But
yeah.
for me, yeah, I mean, all of the favorite jobs that I have are the ones where I wore like multiple hats and had to do something different like every day. And it sounds that like that's kind of
Seriously.
what you do. And
Yeah.
and you're designing something that you want, like you're the target market for the product. So I don't think there's anything more fun than that.
No, seriously, it's not work, and I'm
Right.
sure you feel the same way about, this podcast and stuff. It's not work. We're just you go to work and you're playing, you're doing everything that you wanted to do. Like even a year ago, being up in North Dakota, the last thing that I thought I'd be doing in a year or less than a year was to be working on a full
Yeah.
NFL assortment for a company that I've always kind of been a fan of. Like it's surreal, but always so
Yeah.
thankful, and it's just been such a cool journey, and what a cool company.
Yeah. Okay. People in the chat are asking for the website. It's unreal.com, and that is UNRL.com. And they also
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
other athleisure wear, golf wear. There is more than just the NFL gear, but obviously that's what we're most interested in here, of course. But they
Right.
have a lot of great stuff. All right, let's
Mhm.
see. What do we want to talk about next? I guess let's talk about. I was wondering. Okay, first of all, what is your favorite Vikings jersey design from over the years? Like which like decade? Oh, it's not a decade, but which era would you say is your favorite style?
I mean, so I'm so glad that they brought back the classic. I think they knocked that out of the park, 2 years ago when they unveiled that. I guess I'll kind of just go backwards. Also, the Winter Warrior uniform was so clean, and I'm so excited to kind of see that continue to be
Yeah.
utilized here in the next few seasons. Like, what a cool uniform! What a unique way to represent, the North and Minnesota. Um, but then I've got to go back to like the Randy Moss, Randall Cunningham days where you've got the Norseman on the sleeve. That was
Yeah.
such a like the glossy purple helmet with a purple face mask. Like what a cool era for
Yeah.
Vikings football, and I think it just like translates so perfectly to those uniforms. Like that the all white like 98 uniform. Oh my
Oh, yeah,
god.
those
If they could
yeah.
if they could bring those back, I don't know if anyone from the Vikings is listening here. I had a call with some of them today, but if anyone's on here and is listening, I don't know what you got to do to, talk with Nike and, the NFL executives, things like that, but I think the fans really want the all white 90s uniform back. That would be insane. But
Yeah.
I
Well, yeah,
digress.
I was gonna ask if you were in charge, what would the Vikings uniform look like? So is that what you would go with?
Oh yeah, I'd
Mm.
run it back. I'd run it back with the classics for
Okay.
sure. Not that
No
there's
tweak.
not that there's anything really wrong with the Vikings uniform right now. Like I think they're
Oh,
one of
no,
the
no.
few teams in the NFL that has one of the best uniforms hands down, and that's me trying to come at it from an unbiased perspective. Like there's nothing more iconic than the Viking horn, on the helmet. It's such an iconic helmet. So we're very lucky as a fan base to have such strong uniforms, in
Yeah.
our history as a franchise. So
I know, I know. Purple is such a fun color to wear.
right.
Okay. Frankie wants to know what other teams are you affiliated with? So Vikings is like where the start came, and then he says and Timberwolves. Timberwolves, I think you guys are just doing like a little bit, right? And then Wild
Yeah.
sometime.
Yeah. Yep. So we have the Timberwolves coming up. That'll be an in arena exclusive. Um, I mean, I know we all wish we could launch it online and have it, accessible to so many people, but that's beyond our pay grade, with
Yes.
how the
And
NBA,
that's
negotiates those types of things from a merch perspective. But then after that, we'll start teasing our collaboration with the Minnesota Wild this year. There's more teams in the Rolodex here that are coming out that we haven't worked with before that I think a lot of people are going to be really excited about. In terms
ooh,
of NFL, yeah, yeah, kind of cool. There's a little teaser for you,
yeah.
and it's not NFL related. For the NFL this year, God, I'm gonna definitely miss some. So just cut me off if I start rambling. We've got the Bills, we've got the Steelers, Packers, Bears, Chiefs, Panthers, Bills, Broncos.
Yeah,
I
yeah, for
think. And the Vikings, I think that was our 24 assortment. Um, and we are adding to that for 25. So
oh,
we've got our work cut out for us, introducing ourselves to even more fan bases here in the NFL. It's so exciting. I can't wait for people to kind of start seeing that teaser content that's going to be coming out this summer. It's going to be really exciting.
I was gonna ask what your dream Unreal hoodie would be if you could design it, but that might be coming out, so probably shouldn't spoil it. So
I'm
I won't.
working. Yeah, I'm literally working on it right now. Like I'm dead
Okay.
serious. Like as soon as I kind of got the green light to start concepting designs and stuff like that for next year, I was like, I know exactly what I want to do, and this is what it's going to look like. I don't know if it's gonna get approved or if anyone else is really gonna like it, but we're putting it out there. We're gonna put it up for review, and
Yeah,
please, everyone, cross your fingers right now. Whoever's in here, like, because I promise it'll be cool. It's not gonna suck.
yeah. Well, oh, and last year the last hoodie I think that it was a collaboration with the Children's Hospital, right?
Yeah, yeah, with Masonic. Yeah, that was so special to have Harrison Phillips and CJ Ham, spend some time with the kids over at the hospital, and to have them to include those kids in a way that you don't see that happen very often, where brands and teams kind of come together to work with kids to say, hey, we want you to do the design for this. Now obviously what came out wasn't one kid's design. It was just a culmination of so many different design ideas and things like that. So that was a really special product, not just from the story perspective, but just it was all
Yeah.
encompassing. It was so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, that was just such a good idea. I love that you guys did that. Oh
Hmm.
my God, I just blanked on what I was gonna ask you. Oh my gosh, what was it?
Well, I'm going to ask
Oh,
you
you
from a
mentioned
from a
oh, go ahead.
okay, I'll ask you,
Okay.
and if anyone in the chat wants to chime in, feel free. I want to know what fans want to see out of a
Mhm.
out of an Unreal hoodie. Like, Sal, what is your dream Vikings Unreal hoodie or garment in general?
Well, first of all, the track pants, that was such a good idea. I loved that option. I didn't get them, but I because I wanted them to look a little bit different for me, but those would just be so wonderful for me, especially in the mornings when I'm setting up the tailgate and it's like, 15 degrees or whatever, because I always have to throw pants on over whatever I'm gonna wear. It would be really cool to have like a fashionable, still a Vikings, outfit. Um,
Yeah.
but for me, I really like a zip up, not just a quarter zip. I'm a zip up girl. I don't have to mess up my hair and all that, putting it on. And I always get makeup on the hoodie and stuff. So more zip ups. But yeah, I mean, I really like how it's expanded to the quarter zips, and then there's like the more feminine style hoodie. But you guys
Hmm.
in the chat, let us know what you are into. Julian says Winter Warrior design with the white, purple, and metallic silver would be sweet.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, the silver would be cool. Let's see. Who else? Yeah. You guys chime in, but I think just maybe like more I loved it last year when there was the women's sizes and the men's sizes. I don't know how it sold,
Hmm.
but I did love that.
Oh, it did pretty well, and it's so nice that we now have a full women's assortment. So I
Mhm.
I would be very surprised if we don't decide to offer more women's products in the future. Because we have expanded that assortment, to where it's at now. So I
Yeah.
think I think you can rest assured knowing that might be coming down the pipeline. It'll be good.
Yeah, and I did love the ones that was, like, the more, windbreaker material. I didn't really love the color
Yeah.
purple that it was, and I didn't like the little thing that was right here, but I liked that it was a
Oh, for
lighter weight
sure.
option because all the Unreals do have that, like, fleece lining, which I love, but I get kinda hot, so I like having
Hmm.
options. Bob
No, I
wants to know
love
if
the
you
track
do hat.
jacket.
Oh,
We
yeah, Bob
do. We do hats. I'm not sure if hats are going to be included in the. I mean, there's such a process that goes into what products you can sell, what products you can design on, everything like that. And so I'm not sure if hats will be included in the assortment, but I know that Unreal Vikings hats do exist because we do a ton of custom orders for organizations and things like that. But Yeah, we have all kinds of hats. They're all available on the website right now at unrl.com. So check them out.
Well, and you guys did Adam Thielen's hats, right? And
Yep.
Harrison Smith's hats also, correct?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and Harrison actually helped with the design on the hat,
Yeah.
so that was really cool.
Oh my gosh, awesome. And then somebody else
Yeah.
said I lost it, a gold, a UK edition on a UK edition with the Understand Soccer Club style. I don't know what that means, but and who said something about gold?
I think
Oh,
I did see that, like the
abstract.
purple abstract. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. That would be cool. I can't picture it, but
that would be cool.
I'm very excited to see the Wolves drop, and I will be at that game. So probably it's an 8:30 tip off on a Sunday night. Like, so we'll have to get there probably at
Yeah,
6
it's a little brutal. Yeah.
to get the jersey or the hoodie, but whatever. Okay, so
hmm
you mentioned CJ Ham and Harrison Phillips and working with them on the Masonic Children's Hospital design, but is there any other Vikings? Obviously, I know you've met other Vikings, but anybody else that who stood out or you just had an awesome experience with that you would share?
Um, Dallas Turner came into the office like right after he was drafted. And it was really
Oh,
cool to
okay.
kind of see him, in that stage where his life, I mean, obviously he played at Alabama, so he already was on that bigger stage, but to see him in that, in that life-changing phase where he just, he became an NFL player, like he
Yeah.
fulfilled probably a lifelong dream. And so to have him in like a week after he got drafted and get to talk to him and stuff like that. Our guy in the back, our embroidery guy Coop in the back, had a Tennessee Volunteers hoodie made up for him as a joke. So that was fun. I mean, like that's what goes into like obviously we want to work with the best athletes in the country or in the world, but we want them to also emulate what Unreal stands for. So we're always looking for guys that want to be active in their community and are just really really solid human beings. And Dallas really embodied that. TJ Hawkinson, great guy. I've worked with him on a couple of projects. Been great to talk to. Josh Metellus is just an
Mhm.
A+ guy. He's been in. Um, yeah, the list really goes on. I could go on and on about this kind of stuff, but like most of these guys as fans we know this, but like so many of these guys are so genuine. They're just such good dudes and they embody the culture that KOC and Kwesi are successfully creating over at
Mhm.
TCL. So it's just cool and I can't wait to see, who else comes into the office, after the draft or if anyone
Yeah.
else is going to come down the pipeline, from the team, things like that. So
Yeah.
all of them
I
are
mean,
great.
it has to be so surreal though. Like, I don't know. I just think about it. Like, you go from just like making fun designs and stuff and posting them on Instagram, and now at your job every day, like real Vikings players are coming in. And it's just like, what a cool trajectory in such a short amount of time.
It's been insane. Yeah, for lack of a better term. Like it was my second or third day in the office. I was just, I was onboarding, drinking out of a fire hose as you do when you're starting a new job. And I hear Sam, our athlete program guy, bringing someone around the corner. And he's like, "Oh, here's Eli. He does our graphics. He just started." And I turn around and there's Harrison Phillips. And I'm just like, "Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
guess this is my life now. What's up, man? Good to see you.
Yeah.
Like, welcome in." I had just done Josh Metellis's logo last year, right around this time, and he was
Mhm.
one of the first guys that came into the office after I started, and so it was cool to meet him in person and chop it up with him, things like that. But you nailed it on the head. Going from just some dude that wanted to learn Photoshop and started to pump out sports designs, to now have full teams. Like the Philadelphia Eagles just DM'd me on Instagram one day and said, "Hey, we love your work and we want to work with you."
Oh my
It's
God.
like how
Yeah.
how cool is that? So like not a day goes by where I don't feel, so incredibly thankful to have these opportunities, things like that. Plus to have such a cool fan base that the Vikings have that is so supportive and will do anything that they can to lift up their own. Like we
Mhm.
uh we're lucky as content creators to have such a passionate and supportive fan base. Like shout out to you guys because you're one of one for sure.
Yeah. Totally, totally, and I feel like everybody probably says that about their fan base, but I mean, I truly do mean it. I mean, we have the best fans. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but just me too. I mean, I moved here. It's been 10 years now, but I didn't know anyone when I moved here. I just moved here because I loved the Vikings, and
Right.
now, I'm doing this. I'm going to every game. I'm hosting a tailgate, and I just have, some of the best people in my life that I could ever even hope for. So yeah, I can relate to that for sure. And then it is like surreal. Obviously, I have no access like you have, but if you just see a Vikings player like at Target or something, it's like, what is my life? Like, what's going on? Hold on.
Seriously. Seriously. Yeah, and then just to have them, know you by name. It's like, "What are you
Yeah,
talking about? Like, I'm just a dude. Like,
yeah,
you're much more important. Like, you go hang out with your famous friends." Like, I don't know.
yeah,
It's cool, but and it's so cool for both of us and for, Vikings content creators in general, like, what a cool thing to bond over a game, essentially,
yeah.
and to bond over a team and to just have so many, cool connections that have come from that. We have a mutual friend, Jason Harmon, that has become
Oh,
one of my best friends when he comes to town. Like
yeah,
I don't know, it was like we've been friends for our entire lives and we, had only known each other through Twitter essentially. And
yeah.
then we finally meet in person. We're like, "Oh yeah, we gel perfectly. Like this is amazing." So I'm so
I
excited
know.
to this is my first year out in Minnesota, and so I'm so excited to see kind of what else blossoms from all of this.
Yeah, yeah. Jason is a great person. Has he been on here twice? But just such a good friend. I mean, I went to Arizona for the Rams game, which I don't know if I don't want to get into all that, but and he just took such great care of me. Told me like step by step every single thing that I needed to do. Oh, you're coming from the airport. You need to do this and this, and then obviously he got that suite for us, which was just phenomenal, amazing.
Mhm.
And, I wish it would have turned out differently, but yeah, Jason is definitely one of the good ones. Oh, Daniel wants to
Absolutely.
know, when does Sal get her own special edition clothes? I think I might have to make those myself, Daniel, but let
That
let me know. Let me know what you're thinking. Okay, so,
that's a
I wanna know if you could work with any athlete, past or present, it can be somebody from the past, a Vikings player from the past. Who would your dream partnership be, and what would you make them?
I mean, there's no way we can afford this guy right now, but God, to get Justin Jefferson in the building, to
Yeah,
create some custom Jay Jettas gear, it'd be the perfect marriage, feed
mm,
families for generations, whatever the cool kids are saying. Um,
right.
yeah, to have someone of Justin's caliber would be insanity. I would also love to, do like a three deep collab with Jake Reed, Chris Carter, and Randy Moss.
Oh my god.
Something like that would be insane.
Oh my
So
god.
I don't
Wow.
know. Maybe I just launched some, crazy
That would be
idea out
so
there. Who
cool.
know who knows what the future has in store. And I'm so
That would
glad that Randy's back and Randy's doing well. But to see something like that, to honor those Vikings legends in some way would be a very cool, kind
yeah.
of collaboration or something that I think we could get involved in. So that would be my dream, at least.
I I wish that Unreal would have designed, Randy's moss cancer, how do you say it? The
Seriously,
cancer,
yeah, like yeah. Hmm.
get God, why is it escaping my name, how it goes? Get
How we
mossed
Yeah, let's Moss Cancer or something like that. I I
yeah,
I know what you're talking about, but yeah, I
whatever
have
it
no
is, 'cause
idea.
I ordered it as soon as it dropped, and the hoodie, it's gonna last me maybe 2 washes. It's not one that's that we're gonna be able to get a lot of use out of. So, yeah, I just feel I look at that hoodie and I think even quality aside, I'm like, "Man, this could have been so much cooler." And clearly, I mean, they
Yeah,
kinda rushed it. They just wanted to get it out there, which I understand, but
right.
that would be quite the upgrade. All right, well,
And the oh, sorry. No, and I was gonna say with the perks of having it made by Unreal, it's being made by fans, you know?
yeah,
It's just not some person that doesn't really might not really care. I'm sure they care. I
well,
shouldn't dumb it
yeah.
down, but here at Unreal, I'm very biased, but we
Oh,
care a lot. And there's a lot of pressure that comes with that kind of stuff too, because our fans are very vocal and they are very passionate. So we want to make sure that we do
Yeah.
it right. So,
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, it's less moss cancer. That's what it is. Thank you, Julian.
oh, of course.
Um, Yeah, and you're right. Like the most frustrating thing, and I know this is frustrating for everyone, but especially as a woman, going to try to find something to wear, and you're like, who the fuck designed this? Like, you guys could have called me up for a consultation. I would have gave it to you for free. What I want to wear. Like, I'm the target market for this. I don't want some Skol sister fucking puffer vest or none of it fits right either. That's not even like it falls apart. And it's been, I mean, since Fanatics took over, it's gotten worse, but it was never great.
Right.
So
Right.
it, it's like do a focus group, just figure out what people want. But I guess people are going to buy it anyway because they need something to wear. But that's another cool thing about Unreal. Like you said, it's actually designed by the people who are going to wear it.
Right. Right. Yeah. And we're not just here to turn and burn designs. We're not here simply to just kind of make a profit, as they say. Like we're here to make the fans happy and to, like you said, design something that we would wear on a regular basis. As I, sit here in my
Yeah.
London set from this year. Like I
Yeah.
I wear Unreal pretty much every day. It's what's lining my closet at the moment. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm a loyalist. What can I say?
Well, it's comfortable, so
Right.
that helps. So are you at every Vikings game now or just some of them?
God, I wish. I
Oh,
wish,
I thought you
that
were I
that dream of
thought
being
you
a season ticket holder is. I went to like, I think I went to five
Oh,
this
okay.
year,
Okay.
which
Yeah.
was nuts, having only gone to like one every other year, every other, couple of years. To go to several in a
Yeah.
season was insanity to me. And to do it for work, it's like, oh my God, I'm getting paid to go to a Vikings game. Like I get to be there before all the fans get there. Like this is nuts. Like I'm living the dream. It's so
Yeah.
cool. Did you make it to every game?
I didn't go in for the Bears game. We watched it at the tailgate because it was too expensive, but I think I went to the rest. And then obviously I went to Arizona for the playoff game. So
Of course.
Yeah, usually I am lucky enough to go to all of them. I mean, same thing. I used to just come for the home opener every year. And then the first year I lived here, I went to every game and it was just like, what? Wow.
Right.
I mean,
Like
this is
this is
what I wanted
possible.
to
I can do
happen.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I
Yeah,
wanted to happen. I
absolutely.
didn't think it was really going to happen. Like every single game. What?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
It's wild.
Well, yeah. Let's talk about next year. I know you teased some things that Unreal's got going on, but let's talk about the team for a little bit. We, like I said, we are not getting into any mock drafts or anything on this show until probably like April 22nd. Okay, you guys. That is not my scene. But there are some Vikings fan favorites that are free agents this year. You mentioned Harrison Smith, and I know you guys have a relationship with him. But who you don't have to just pick one. How about you pick two that you would love to see back the most?
I mean, obviously, I'd love to keep our safety group together. So, re-signing Cam Bynum and having, Harrison come back for another year. But that leaves a giant hole in an already very thin cornerback room. So
Mhm.
I don't know. This is why it's so tough, you know. So I want to pick three, but I think the
Okay.
re-signings should be Cam Bynum and Byron Murphy, because
Mhm.
he had such a strong year, obviously being a Pro Bowler, things like
Right.
that. But Makai Blackman coming back obviously adds a little bit of depth. But yeah, I think our secondary needs to stick together in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So because that's been historically kind of a thin department for us, especially in the cornerback room. So
Yeah.
got to keep
Do
the
you
good ones around. You know what I mean?
do you have any inside scoop about what Harrison's gonna do?
I have no idea. I
Darn.
literally have no clue. I have like, so that's been really crazy. And so like some of our guys have texting relationships with some of the guys, and so we were hearing things about, stuff that was going on, and it's just like, oh my God, like a lot of people would kill for this kind of information right now. Like it's been really cool to kind of be inserted into this world. But no, unfortunately, I do not know what
Yeah.
Harrison will be doing next
I
year.
I hate it when people tell me stuff. I mean, I'm not hearing stuff all the time or anything, but sometimes people will tell me things and I like, you know what? I didn't even want to know this because it is so hard for me to keep my mouth shut. N I mean, especially if it's good news, but, like, mostly if it's somebody talking about a subject in front of me or I see it on Twitter or something and I know someone is saying the complete wrong take, it's so hard for me to not say anything. So I would rather just
Right.
not know.
Right. No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, I would not know. Daniel says Sal is gonna coach the offensive line, shape them up. Daniel, no, no one wants that. First of all, that's Dave's thing. I would just call Mike Tice and convince him in some way. That would be how I would shape them up. Slide into the DMs and tell him to come down here. Otherwise, I could call Bryant McKinney and see if he could suit up. That's all I got for you. Too evil. Should we trade McCarthy for Deshaun Watson? And I think you got to be trolling my guy, right?
That's a troll 100%. Oh my god. Come on, get out of here with that. What are we doing?
No. The Vikings quarterback rumors this past, like, week or so, I don't know if you've seen them, but it's like people are grasping at straws. I think they must be just bored, but I've seen Matt
Yeah.
Stafford, I've seen Aaron Rodgers, and it doesn't make any sense, you guys. Like, where is this coming from?
We
It
have
better
our
be.
guy. We
Yeah,
have our guy. His name is JJ McCarthy, and he is the future of Minnesota Vikings football. So
yeah.
let's just be okay with that. You know, we have a ton of cap
No.
space. We can build around this guy. We have the quarterback whisperer already in Kevin O'Connell. So like let's just be okay with having somewhat of a normal offseason. Like I know every year for like the past decade, we've
Mhm.
been so unsure in so many different areas, but like quarterback's good. Like, let's focus on offensive line. Let's focus on adding a couple more key defensive pieces, you know, for an already incredible Vikings defense. Like, let's just enjoy the fact that we have a quarterback. We have our guy. So let's just chill,
Yeah.
please.
I know. It's like it's the same people that were all upset, about, potentially extending Sam or whatever the case may be before he shit the bed that are out here spinning these rumors. And it's like, I don't get it. I don't get it, you guys. But Julian says, have Rick Sosa be the general manager. And that is hilarious. Has anybody heard from him? Is he doing okay? Just wondering.
I
It's
haven't
been
heard
a
a
while.
word.
I know.
Shout
I
out
know.
though. Shout out, man.
I got him to delete his account and then he just never I can't believe he hasn't came back. He must have an anonymous account. There's no way he could stay away.
He might be
But okay,
listening.
nah, I don't know. I don't know. I think he's whipped. I think he's whipped because Rick Sosa and I have always had a friendly relationship. He gets on my nerves just like he does everybody else's, but I've always been on his good side. And I saw him at the draft party. Was it this past year or the year before? I don't know. My memory is terrible, but he would normally come up to me like live streaming and be like, "Get on my live stream, blah blah blah." But he was holding hands with this woman walking around, and I said hi to him
Yeah.
and passing, and he was like not trying to talk to me. So I'm like, okay, I know what that means. It's happened enough times in my life where somebody who wants to be my best friend then can't even speak to me. So I think then he changed his profile picture to him and the girl and got engaged. And so I'm thinking it's just an unhealthy codependent relationship. That's my analysis of the situation because all of a sudden one day I realized that I'm blocked. I'm like, what the fuck did I do to
Oh
you?
man.
And at one time he said, "Oh, anybody who wants to be unblocked from me has to like message Sally and Sally will decide if you are blocked or not." And now I'm blocked. So I got him to delete his account, you guys. I don't know. He'll be back once that lady leaves him or whatever. It'll happen. But
You're,
anyway, I didn't
you're
mean
really doing the Lord's work here. Good work. Good work,
everybody
Small.
was so
You've
happy
done
that
it.
I did that. I didn't think he was gonna delete. I mean, it wasn't that serious, but yeah, that might be an off-season show, you guys. We can drop the Rick Sosa text. Well, that's the problem. I said I was gonna release the text that made him delete his account, but the problem is if I release the text, then what do I have on him if he comes back? Nothing. So,
Nothing.
I gotta hold him over his head, right?
Right.
Anywho,
Yeah.
okay.
Keep that locked down.
Alrighty, what else should we talk about here? Oh my God, there's been so much. This has been such a fun conversation.
Yeah, no
Um,
kidding.
let's see. Okay, we mentioned the cornerbacks or the backfield and how thin they are back there. I too would love for them to bring Cam and Byron Murphy back. A lot of people don't think that they're going to bring both back, and they think that it's going to be Cam who leaves. But I just want Cam for the celebrations, of course. Like what a
Yeah.
fun thing. And well, we can talk about KOC and the winning the Coach of the Year. Were you surprised that he
Oh,
won, given who he was nominated against?
absolutely not. I mean, there obviously, as the Lions kind of started their trajectory into the playoffs, things like that, you get a little nervous. But thankfully, voting doesn't really matter, or I guess
Mhm.
playoff performance doesn't really matter when it comes to voting. So when I heard about that, I was like, oh, KOC is an absolute lock. He has to be. Like I don't know who. Obviously, there were some very very good coaches in the league. You had Dan Quinn, leading his team
Mhm.
to the NFC Championship with a rookie quarterback. Like DQ deserves all the love. Obviously,
Yeah.
Dan Campbell is great. The way that he's turned around that franchise down in Detroit. But KOC's our guy. He has completely flipped the Vikings culture, and I'm so thankful for that. Him and Kwesi have been an incredible blessing to the to the Vikings fan base and to the organization as a whole. So, no, I didn't really have any doubts, especially once when you know that things are looking up for you when the national media is really paying attention to that and they're really making those calls like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, this guy's coach of the year. So that gave
For
me
sure.
personally a lot of confidence. But
Yeah, I was obviously hoping that he would, but I think I must just have too many Lions fans in my ear all the time who are just talking about Dan Campbell, Dan Campbell. And I know the media loves, how emotional he is and stuff. So I was worried that he might win, but hey, we got it. We got a couple awards that day because we had Bynum's Celebration Award as well. And
right.
okay, so you brought up Quasey. They're still waiting on his extension, which I think a lot of people thought it would be out by now. And Bulldog is asking, do we think that Quasey is going to get more draft picks? I'm assuming you mean by like trading the first or whatever. What do you think about that? Because they don't have many. They have 4 picks, is from what I understand, and a lot that they need to replace or get younger at.
Yeah, I feel like we have some pieces that might make for some decent, trade options, things like that. You have to believe that Kwesi's gonna try to snag a couple more picks, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe he'll pull what the Rams did, say F them picks, and just use their cap space to go get some, key pieces and ride the wave and run it back in the next year and hopefully make a Super Bowl run. So, but I do think, from a rational perspective,
Oh,
Kwesi's got to be going out and trying to get a couple more picks just to, shore things up a bit.
yeah, I think he'll for sure trade back or something because you just got to get more picks. It's not going to work with just those 4 for sure. And it's going to drive us crazy when we're there at the draft party and we're waiting for the pick at what is it, 24, 24,
Yeah.
and then it's going to be like, oh, the Vikings traded back, and we're going to have. I mean, that one year when we had to wait they were 12, and then they traded all the way back to 32, and we're still at US Bank Stadium, and it's like 11 p.m. Uh, that it's like
Man,
I like when it's late because I like seeing everybody, but 11 p.m. like that was a little much. Yeah, so we're all going to be annoyed when he does it, but I think he has to. He needs some more capital. But Dave just
right.
reminded me we need to show your work. We have some of your favorite stuff that we're going to put up, and
Oh God.
you can tell us about it. Tell us about. Oh, I loved that one. I love the away game ones that you do too. Those are my favorite, but so that's
Oh,
last
that
year's
was the
schedule release, right?
that was like 2 years ago. Yeah, that one actually got me in a little bit of trouble. So
Oh, oh, because of the
we can
schedule?
we can move on from that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Whoops.
Oh my gosh, no, that's so funny that you brought that up. Um, this was awesome. Obviously, when jersey swapping is such a hot ticket item in sports now, fans want to see their favorite athlete and their favorite team's gear, and it always just seems like they live in such an echo chamber. So this gave me such a cool opportunity this photo of JJ to
Mhm.
kind of break the mold of the traditional jersey swap and do something from an angle that I hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
So yeah, this definitely jumps out as one of my favorites, and the fans seem to really love it as well. So it was kind of cool how it came together.
Yeah, because the second slide is this Michigan jersey, right? Or no?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I did like a breakdown before and after, things like that.
Yeah.
It's just yeah, it's him
Yeah.
in his all blues. I think this was the national championship game. So yeah, it was perfect. I saw the photo and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is perfect jersey swap material and we're gonna make
Yeah.
this happen." So I'm glad with how it came out.
Yeah, for sure. What else we got next, Dave? Ooh.
Okay, so this is like if I could design a Vikings uniform, imagine a blackout at the bank. Like I know the Ravens have their blackout, but like it's such a perfect venue for a primetime game, and if we did, had like black and purple smoke and all of this stuff, and how
Oh,
how good
yeah.
of a job the Vikings do with their production, like I think a blackout would be kind of insane. I got flamed for this pretty hard on social when I posted it because everyone was like, "You're too much like the Ravens," yada yada
Yeah.
yada. Everyone has an opinion, but I was like, "Come on, guys, let's have a
Yeah.
little bit of an imagination. Let's just bear with me. This could be very very cool." So
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm getting whiteout fatigue personally, and I
yeah,
don't know. When it first started, it was like, "All right, this is cool." It's not so bad with the Vikings because at least it makes sense, winter whiteout, but now the Wolves, I mean, the Wolves, I probably have 20 white generic T-shirts from every Wolves whiteout I went to because every single playoff game last year was a Wolves whiteout. There was Wolves whiteout during the season, and there's a Wolves whiteout for the home opener last year. It's like, okay, we get it. We get it. Like,
right. Hmm.
I couldn't believe it when round after round it was whiteout, whiteout. Oh my god, it's like, "Do you know how many cool outfits I have that I've been waiting to wear, and you're making me wear this stuff?" But all
Come
right.
on, man. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is obviously when the long-awaited Justin Jefferson extension finally got announced. I had like 3, 4 different iterations of a JJ extension graphic, and this is the one that I decided to post. Pretty simple in nature, but honestly, like there were some great photos that came out. I think this was from like an ESPN shoot that he did, and I
Mhm,
kind of just took those photos and do some good fonts around it. I don't know. I try to because as a designer, especially in sports, I talked about the echo chamber. Everything starts to kind of look the same. And so you're trying to if you're trying to grow as a designer, you're trying to think, okay, how can I do this differently? How can I do this in a way that hasn't necessarily been done before, And so how can I create an extension graphic for a player that isn't going to, adhere to this mold that is
mhm,
used kind of and recycled like it has been. So I did this, and sometimes, people might not be a fan of it, but that means you're doing something right when you have both sides coming in saying, "Oh, that doesn't work for me," or "Oh my god, this is amazing," because I don't know, you're breaking mold and you're making, bold choices and things like that, and you're growing as an artist. So I don't know, I
so
like this
how
one for sure.
how long does something like this take you to design?
So, like, funny enough, like stuff like this doesn't take long at all because it's mostly photo based. So I would say 45 minutes to an hour, and
Oh,
that's just because I really like to refine the details, things like that. I'll play with the lighting on the subject's face, stuff like that to really bring out those features. You know, bringing out those nuances or focusing on the details that, most people wouldn't even notice, but for me, I know that it's a nice polished piece, so that makes me feel better about it when I go to post it. So,
yeah. Chris Thompson wants to know if you ever use AI for inspiration for concepts. No?
no, no, I never use AI. The only AI I use, so in Photoshop, so we're getting into the weeds here. We're gonna get a little nerdy for a second.
Well, Chris wanted to
In
know, so
Photoshop, yeah, well, yeah. So, Chris, this is for you. In Photoshop, there's a tool called Generative Fill where it uses AI. So, if you want to this works great for jersey swaps. If you want to remove logos from jerseys, things like that, you can select it and use this Generative Fill tool to remove it. Essentially, so I will use that to expand the background of an image or things like that. But I'll never be generating images using AI and then kind of using them as a graphic. That's just something that I'm not personally for. I've seen some great use cases for it, but that's just not something that I've introduced into my workflow yet. So
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I can't even draw a straight line, so it's not for that. But I mean, sometimes it's surprising. ChatGPT can give you some ideas, and it's like, wow, okay, but yeah, obviously, for your artwork, that wouldn't be something that you need. But all right, next one
yeah.
up.
So yeah, like I don't know, every year I try to kind of come up with a with like my take on what like game day graphics and stuff like that would work or would look like if I were, designing for a team. And obviously I pick the Vikings every year because they're my favorite. And so this was just kind of a cool concept. Again, trying to branch out and do something different and, that kind of aligns with stuff that I haven't seen before, and so this was like a preseason set that I wanted to experiment with, and it was just kind of a cool template that translated across all three of the games. So we featured some of the unsung heroes. I think we've got Brian Asamoah, and then Pat Jones was featured in it too. So
Oh
and
yeah,
then oh my God, who this is this Walter? Who is this? I'm drawing such a blank. Please don't. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, guys. It's been
yeah,
a
I don't
week
know.
already, and it's already
Walter
Tuesday. But
Rouse.
yeah, we're featuring guys that yeah, Walter Rouse. Yeah, for sure. So I was right. Thank God. Um, seeing guys like that that don't always get the attention that they might deserve. Featuring them in graphics, and then obviously translating that look and that feel over to this Vikings and Lions piece with JJ. This one got a lot of love. It was fairly straightforward, pretty easy. I say that doing this every day. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty easy. Do it together, whatever. But just it translated so nicely from the concept that I had in my head to putting it on screen. So
yeah, I love that
I don't
one.
know. I'm probably pretty bad about like explaining this stuff
No,
because being fully transparent, I'm sort of just going off of what I think is cool. I'm not formally educated in design, and I'm sure that gives like educated designers an aneurysm sometimes when I talk about my work and I break it down in some way because they're like, "Oh, are you following the golden rule or the golden ratio?" Things like that. I'm like, "No, I'm just kind of going off of what I think works and is reads well, and I think it's just kind of cool." And this is the perfect example of that. I kind of just I find my style and I find what works for me and I find some cool text and I make it happen. So Josh has always been so supportive of my work, so I try to always include him in a couple of pieces every year, just because I know
no,
he'll like them and things like that. So
yeah, he seems so fun. He's always smiling. I just love that. Oh,
he's
okay.
oh yeah, he's such an A+ dude. These were cool. So I had been seeing some like mini NFL players, kind of trickle in and out of social media and stuff like that. Like pro teams were posting them, and I was like, the Vikings do their big heads, obviously, on social and on their website, but I would love to see what mini Vikings would look like. Can I this was like a new skill that I learned. Like how can I do this? Can I make these guys tiny? And so we did it and we did it for like 5 or 6 games and the players really loved them. People really loved this mini gritty.
Yeah, that's so
It's
funny.
just I don't know, it's such a cool little trend to hop on. That's half the battle with graphic design is like how can I keep my style, keep this flow going, but also adhere to some of the trends and stuff that are going on social. Because at the end of the day, this is just fan art, and you want people to see it, so you have to adhere to some of those trends and hop on
Mhm.
board that train every once in a while. So
Yeah, I love it how his shoes are still big, but just his body and his head are not.
yeah,
It's
kind of
so
make them
fun.
little like caricatures, things like that. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
so cute. Like I don't know.
yeah,
I don't think NFL players ever want to be called cute, but it's one of those things where you do it and it's just like, oh my God, look at that little guy. Like
yeah.
it's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it's so
So
funny. All right, Eli. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's been like an hour, so we should probably wrap up. This has been so
heck
fun
yeah.
to learn more about this process and Unreal. You will have
Yeah.
to come back for sure when your dream hoodie comes out so we can talk
Oh,
about it.
absolutely. I'll wear it. I'll wear it. We'll send you one and we'll match and it'll be perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll have to come on and just tell us the process and how you got there, but make sure everybody goes to Unreal's website, check it out, and tell everybody where they can find you on Instagram and Twitter and everywhere else.
I'm so easy to find on Instagram. It's just my name, at Eli Corbett. And then Twitter, it's at Eli underscore Corbett. I guess I didn't want to be consistent there, but I'm really easy to find. I'm the guy that works at Unreal. I'm sure if you just put in Eli Unreal, it'll pop up.
Yeah.
I've had people find me that way. So
Yeah. Oh,
however you
okay.
need to find me, I'll be there. So
And guys, please smash the like button before you leave. I'm so bad at bringing that up. And subscribe, please. I will love you forever. But Eli, thank you again. Like I said, this is so fun. And I'm sure I'll see you at the draft party, if not before.
heck yeah, I'll actually see you at the Timberwolves game. So again,
Oh,
thank you for I'll be there. I'll be there. But thank you for bringing me on. It's so cool to kind of talk about the process and to introduce people to me, as a human being, not just Eli,
yeah.
the guy that makes cool graphics. So
Yeah.
I appreciate
For
it.
sure. Of course. All right, guys. I will see you next Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. Skol.
Like, subscribe, and ring the bell. And rate us on your favorite aggregator. And a big shout out goes to Sal and her guests on this Vikings First and SKOL production, partnered with the Fans First Sports Network. Thanks, everyone, and SKOL.